Hi! So in my last video, we talked a bit about summer trends and all of the current things that I'm excited to wear, but sometimes when I'm making those videos, I often find myself thinking and reminiscing on trends of the past, especially today as trend cycles are, moving like that. But for some reason, I've been feeling, a little nostalgic for my youth and all the fashion that took place at that time. So instead of doing a video about current day trends, I thought it would be fun to kind of reminisce and reflect on past trends that I miss that I kind of wish would make a reappearance in the mainstream. So today's just going to be a fun little blast from the past kind of video. Yeah, if you're into alternative, emo kind of fashion, stick around. I'm sure a lot of these pieces are probably going to bring up some memories for you. The first thing on my list is Trip NYC, and I know a lot of younger people have definitely revived those styles. I've been seeing like a lot of street fashion that includes Trip. Some of the Y2K girlies I have noticed have gotten into Trip, like at least the mini skirts. But when I say Trip pants, I mean like Trip pants. I want like chains and buckles and plaid and lace up details and skulls. Everything. Sorry, this AC unit is very loud. It's kicked on, so sorry if you can hear that. I want like all those little, hardware details. I even love when they have like the suspenders that connect. I used to have this like purple pair. They were like hand-me-downs or something. There was no fucking way that I could afford a pair of those growing up. So it did not come close to owning stuff like that. Honestly, they might have even been a knockoff. But I digress. Either hand-me-down Trip pants or just like knockoff Trip pants. But they were these like kind of, I guess, skinny jeans. Purple plaid. They had like zippers all around it, up and down the leg, on the sides. They had these like freaking buckle details and shit, and they were awesome. I thought they were so cool. When I wore them to school, I got made fun of. Like a lot of my fashion choices, I got made fun of. Unfortunately, when you're a kid, you don't really have a developed sense of self yet. Well, I guess you do, but people often shit on that sense of self. And so it kind of puts you in a box where you're like, oh, I guess I shouldn't participate in that thing because I'm going to get like negative feedback if I do. And so I was very curious about Trip pants growing up, but I always felt wildly self-conscious to wear them. And then I wore those purple ones to school, and yeah, that's what happened. Times have changed, I think, today for the better. Stay out of comment sections online, and then you'll feel positive about, the way humanity is progressing. I think it's because I kind of missed my opportunity to indulge in those growing up that I kind of want to now. So if I found a pair of pants like that, they don't necessarily have to be Trip, but like in that style, I'd be really excited about it and curious to style them. And I think I would not feel insecure now wearing those. The people who get it will get it, My next trend that I wish would come back are just really over the top tacky shoes. I don't know if anybody remembers this brand. I think they were called Iron Fist. They made these like high heels that had monster prints all over them, and they were freaking awesome. Yeah, so I would see these heels sometimes on celebrities, different musicians. I think I saw them in. Usually they were in more alternative spaces. They didn't really quite reach the mainstream. I want to say like Hayley Williams wore a pair of these before. I know that's really weird for me to remember that, but remember magazines? Yeah, I read a lot of those, and I would see these shoes in those magazines, particularly like fashion magazines or alt press, something like that. And I think they started carrying them in Hot Topic too. And they made like flats and other kinds of shoes. But when I was a teenager, or like kind of middle school age, I guess, I was particularly obsessed with the heel versions. But that's something kind of about like the 2000s and 2010s that I miss generally. I miss like over the top, like gaudy, bold, graphic, kitschy, weird patterns. I think footwear is such an underrated place to make a statement. What is more impactful than having like, zombies on your shoes? Maybe that's a little tacky for some, but to me, I'm really into it. And again, it's like if you wear just like a really nice, pretty, classy outfit and then add a shoe like that, I think it's so fun. And I would really love to see something like that make a comeback. My next trend is kind of like a general thing because growing up, jackets were like a huge thing, particularly like certain styles of jackets. Denim jackets, leather jackets, and bombers were also really popular. Varsity jackets also had a moment, and like a lot of those denim like hoodie hybrids, which I'm into, honestly. I often will intentionally layer hoodies underneath my leather jackets and stuff because I think it just looks cooler. It's like an extra little layer, but I personally don't mind those built in together kind of pieces. And I like how much we made statements with jackets like in the 2010s. There were so many ways to like personalize how you styled a jacket. And of course, like jackets, they have always existed. They still exist. I guess particularly those styles and the whole like DIY like personalization of that, pins and patches and stuff like that, which I've always been into, being an alternative subcultures and stuff, but those are making like mainstream waves. So I could see this coming into jackets, or people are customizing their jackets. I think like a custom leather jacket or a Letterman jacket or something would be so cool. You could paint the back of a bomber jacket or something. I also really love those like military kind of style jackets, not like true military, but the ones that kind of emulate almost like marching band type of aesthetics. Think MCR, that sort of thing. But yeah, just really cute, like grungy, easy pieces to throw on, and you look like instantly cool and badass. I myself have a pretty decent jacket collection, but I would love to start dressing them up more, maybe paint on them a little bit, add some pins and stuff like that. You know, when approaching those projects and thrifting, I'm definitely thinking about some of these past styles, how I used to wear them in high school and stuff, and how I would go about it today. In high school, I had quite a few like go-to jackets. One was like this cheap little Letterman jacket I got at PacSun back when PacSun was like cool. And I know stores alter to cater to the youth. I wouldn't say I'm old. I don't think I'm considered the youth anymore. When I walk into a PacSun, I'm like, I don't think I should be. I feel like instead of getting ID'd for being like too young, it's like the reverse. I'm like, oh, I'm entirely too old to be in this store. PacSun, in case you didn't know, if you're on the younger side, PacSun was a wildly different store in the 2000s and 2010s. It was like dark in there. They had wood like paneling on all the walls. It was very like surfer, skater. All the clothes were super colorful. They had really cool brands like Volcom, Roxy, Billabong, all those Bullhead, which I didn't put this in the list, but colored denim, Bullhead denim, was obsessed with it in high school. But PacSun was like one of my go-to shopping places, and you could get stuff on crazy clearance, and I was absolutely obsessed with it when I was a teenager. A lot of those pieces I think would be a little snug on me now, and I don't have any of them anyways. But looking back, I'm like, yeah, I was onto something with that. And I want to explore that more. So my next trend item is zip up hoodies / hooded tops, and this is just kind of general. Like, it could be a Henley top with a little hood on it, or like one of those little t-shirt things that zip up, like a little shrug. And I also miss when like bold colors and graphics were on hoodies. A lot of people kind of just wear like branded hoodies now, I feel like. I don't see a lot of like personal kind of hoodies, if that makes sense. Sure, like concert wear and stuff I see sometimes, but mostly I'm seeing like brand names on sweatshirts. Particularly, it's like sweatshirts. So like a crew neck sweatshirt or a hoodie that you like pull over your head. I never really see zip up sweatshirts anymore, especially in that really playful, like cutie way, or like hoodies in general. Just hoods added to things is something that I feel like has just completely disappeared. Maybe it's childish. I think it's cute, and a lot of them just had such fun colors and patterns, and I had so many cool hoodies that I got from like Hot Topic and places like that when I was younger. I remember I had like a Panic at the Disco one. I had all sorts of cool shirts. I had a lot of cool stuff, like corpse bride stuff, Lord of the Rings, like all the nerdy shit I was into at the time. Yeah, I would love to see like personalized interests on hoodies again. And a zip up style, I feel like it's more convenient. It's just so much more wearable to me, more comfortable, it goes with more stuff. I'm probably like never gonna pull a hoodie or sweatshirt over my head unless like I'm intending to wear that all day. I like these types of tops as like a middle ground. Yeah, I think it's really cute. My next trend item is messenger bags. I was obsessed with messenger bags when I was younger. Yeah, I had so many random messenger bags that I collected growing up, and I would wear them to school like instead of backpacks, and it would fucking kill my shoulder. But I did it for the aesthetic. I looked cooler carrying a messenger bag. Guess what? In the year 2024, I still think you look cool when you carry a messenger bag. Every time I see a person with one, I'm like, I want one. But unfortunately, I have not been able to thrift one yet. I am just in an era of my shopping where I'm trying to purchase new as little as possible. Sorry, now my cat is walking on the bed and shaking things around. This is a this is a temporary setup. We're doing the best we can today. Yeah, messenger bags are so cute. Just enjoy the cat cameo. But yeah, messenger bags are so cool. Again, like there used to be ones with specific graphics from movies and bands and stuff like that on them. Since the bag is bigger and there's like that whole, I guess, base on the front, I feel like there is a ton of room for customization. There's so many options. You could paint a messenger bag, fill it up with pins and keychains and stuff like that. One of my favorite like DIY things to do when I was younger is collect like band patches and sew those onto things. So however you want to go about it, you know. But But I think like micro purses have been super trendy for a very long time, and let's be honest, they're really impractical, really unrealistic. I do have some really, useless kind of bags that are just pretty, but I use those for like dinner and stuff like that. They're not going to be my day-to-day bag. Definitely could get into using a messenger bag, I think, regularly. I like that it just like flips open. I feel like it's more accessible than a lot of purses are. You don't have to dig around really. There's like compartments and like pockets and stuff like that. And as someone with OCD, I love that. Love that idea. I also have ADHD, so there can be a specific spot for like everything in my bag, and I love that. It's actually why I switched to smaller purses is because I don't like all the clutter in the bottom of my bag. So I think messenger bags are like so awesome for that reason, because I can put like my water in one spot, a book in another, all my makeup, and whatever. I would love to thrift a really cool messenger bag. I'm definitely keeping my eyes out for one, and those are something I just would like to see come back like full force swinging. Like enough of these little tiny bags that you can only put $1 bill in. Like who where are you going? Who's using this? I don't know. Especially the designer ones. God, those really piss me off. Like $10,000 for like something that's like you literally have to hold it like this. Honestly, I can see people moving away from little bags in general. I think we already started moving to the bigger shoulder bags. Seems like a messenger bag is like the next natural progression, but I think it's a good progression. Next item on the list is also kind of general, and that is like Hollister, Abercrombie, those sorts of tops, baby doll tops, Henley tops. I found a lot of their materials to be more comfortable than. I think a lot of the fabrics and stuff that clothes were made with were different than, to be honest, like not even 10 years ago. And that's depressing. Polyester takes like 500 years to decompose, so AKA it never will. Fun fact, I have like a yearning for like tops that just like feel soft. I say this as I'm wearing like something mesh. Today I have a tolerance for it, but this piece is not as bad. This shirt is comfortable, but you probably know what I mean. A lot of clothing has like a starchy, slippery kind of feeling to it now, and I feel like a lot of these preppy brands, their clothes, well, some of them, would give you like intense body dysmorphia in the dressing room because you would have to like upsize in jeans, like just to get them over your hips. So a lot of the time I would leave stores like that in tears. Also, those were the kind of girls that were bullying me in high school. Like, these are the places they would shop, but I still liked these clothes, and so I still wanted to participate in it too, even if I didn't always feel like it was like my place, like I was welcome there. And so again, it feels like something that I can kind of rectify a little bit now, where I'm like, oh, if I see a cute little baby doll top with a little Hollister logo on it, I'm not gonna like be intimidated by wearing that. I'm not gonna think that's like being a poser or anything. I thought those clothes were cute then. I did wear them a little bit. I remember I had this like really soft, like red Hollister, like Henley sweater, and I wore it all the time. I had some tops from there that I really, really loved, and so I would like to thrift some more of those. I know that the baby doll shape is something I really like now, so that is something I definitely want more of in my closet. But I also enjoy those just cute little like fitted shirts. They are simple, but they look nice and clean, and they were well made and well constructed. And again, I feel like the youth is bringing that back. Y2K has had a major, resurgence. So I have been seeing these, somewhat in the mainstream, at least in like fashion spaces. But I do think it would be a good idea for retailers to like take note of how a lot of blouses and tops were produced and structured, and how they felt to wear, and the longevity of them, versatility of them. Back then they were styled like very, very plainly, but I think they would be something that you can make super duper cute now. My next item is circle skirts. I thrifted the denim American Apparel circle skirt like last year, I think, and it's a go-to for me. I wear it a lot. It's really comfortable and it's really flattering, and not everybody likes that word. Sometimes I don't like that word either, but there's something about a circle skirt that just feels universal. Like, it's universally flattering. I feel like anybody on earth could wear a circle skirt and style it in a way that's personal to them, because a circle skirt is like, that's just the blank term for it, It's just the shape of it. As far as the texture and material and print and color, all that stuff, there's literally endless possibilities to take this. And that's why I had so many circle skirts growing up, because they were just so like interchangeable and easy to wear. And I've noticed that like with that denim skirt, just because it's a really cute skirt, looks good with anything really. And I have a couple of like, I guess more pleated tennis type skirts, which those were also trendy when I was younger, but I feel like those have been revitalized in a mainstream way. I don't think the circle skirt has yet, and I still wear them. I'll still thrift them if they're cute. And again, it's like, how could you hate something like this? I just don't understand why anyone could hate something like this. It's literally just a skirt. It's just a skirt. but you can wear things over it, tuck things into it. I think like the most common way to style it back then was tucking things in or wearing crop tops or something. But I think now people could really incorporate circle skirts with wearing things underneath of it, so it just like pokes out of your t-shirt or your blouse or whatever you're wearing. And super, super wearable. So much versatility. I don't know why the silhouette fell out of fashion, but I think it's classic personally. I think when it screams 2010s, it just like depends on the materials and the way that you're styling it. So obviously if you're wearing like a red velvet circle skirt and you pair it with like a band tee and thigh-high socks and Jeffrey Campbell Lita boots, you're gonna look like you're from the 2010s, and maybe that's your goal. But to like bring this into current day, just pair it with your normal clothes, and I think it will translate as modern. I don't think anyone's gonna look at you like you're wearing something outdated. I think this skirt shape is one that can withstand the test of time, and so I think it should be brought back. I feel like everything that's just like classic shouldn't ever really leave the, you know, cultural fashion zeitgeist, if that makes sense. My next trend that I miss is attitude t-shirts and just character / graphic shirts in general. Now, of course, graphic t-shirts have never gone out of fashion, but certain kinds of them I think have. For starters, I loved like Emily the Strange, Ruby Gloom, Happy Bunny, all those cute characters I was obsessed with. I don't know, there's something just like cute and kitschy I think about having like a sassy saying on your t-shirt. And I just like the personalized like aspect of it. It's not like a shirt that says don't talk to me until I've had my coffee or like something just kind of like generic and repetitive that we've seen a million times, like, oh, it's 1 o'clock, like those kinds of graphic t-shirts. I would love to see things that are just like silly and playful. I do think a lot of those like campy t-shirts have made a comeback with the Y2K revival, but again, I'm still waiting for this alternative emo revival, like true alternative emo revival. Like I would love to see all these familiar characters make a reappearance, just this kind of like styling in general. I had a lot of shirts like that growing up that I love to wear. Yeah, again, I wish I had a lot of them. I wish they still fit. But I love just like silly, campy, quippy slogans, characters, designs, anything that, you know, that's a little bit offbeat, a little clever. I miss weird, like grumpy characters. I miss the way like all of them fit too. Everything just fit really well. I loved like the way the sleeves were on t-shirts like that, the necklines and everything were good. And I feel like the t-shirts were more like meant to fit your body, where now I feel like t-shirts are kind of just like a general shape. So that's something else I miss about that particular style. My next one is like a little niche. Maybe some of you will remember, but it's jump from paper bags. There were these really cool backpacks and purses and stuff that literally looked 2D, like they were drawn on paper. And when you have them on you, it's so trippy to look at, and I think it's so cool. They're to this day one of the most eye-catching, like memorable things I have consumed in fashion, especially growing up. And yeah, they're really loud, pretty obnoxious. There's really not a subtle way to go about this one at all. Like if you were going to take on this trend, you know, you'd have to be really solid about liking the bag and having it be cartoonish, because that is the point of it. I would love to see more of that playful design come back into fashion again, where we're really pushing the boundaries of like what we can even make. Because when I first saw these bags, I was like, how the fuck how did they do this? Like, but it's all just like a forced perspective thing. And the bags actually have depth to them. Like you can put stuff in them. They're normal bags. It's just a very, very clever design. And they had so many different shapes and colors. They had crossbody ones, backpack suitcases. I would beg for one every Christmas for years, but they were really expensive. Never got one. So maybe I'll happen upon one. Who knows? Might treat myself to one day. But I think they're so fun. Kind of like a prop piece, but it's still wearable. You can still use it. You know, now that I'm making content and trying to take pictures more and things like that, I'm like, wow, what a wonderful thing to like excite the work that I'm doing and excite my outfits and stuff like that. Whether it be bags or t-shirts, you know, shoes, whatever. I think like taking that like 2D concept and just art concepts in general and trying to be more inventive about the way we interact with like depth and vision in general, I think is really cool. I don't know, I just find these bags like exciting, and I really hope to see this freer creativity maybe come back. I don't know how you would go about it, but you could maybe DIY this, but there has to be some way you could paint like a jacket to look like this. A lot of people do the pop art, like Borderlands kind of makeup. I've seen people do amazing cosplays with those. I'll throw some photos up so you know what I'm talking about. But like that kind of paint technique, I think could be applied to a lot of different things. Because I think this is just such an area that like it needs more exploration, I feel. My next trend is like another general one. But basically I would sum it up as like stupid, silly jewelry. And by that I mean those crazy spiky earrings we used to wear from Claire's, best friend necklaces, things with glitter, jelly bracelets, those band bracelets I would buy at Warped Tour and stuff, necklaces that reference your favorite movies and characters, wristbands. Remember wristbands? I never thought I would like actively want to see wristbands make a comeback, but if you've seen Little Miss Sunshine, Paula Dano's fit with the yellow t-shirt and the wristband, I'm like, I would literally wear this. There's something about it that's so good, and I fuck with it. Bangles, beaded bracelets, like guitar pick necklaces, just anything that's cute and silly and has personality. It's not taking yourself too seriously. Jewelry is something that's become very, very serious, I feel. There has been this trend of like the charm necklaces and stuff. And I remember like, I'm gonna say it was like 2020. I remember seeing these like certain kind of beaded necklaces like everywhere. At least like online. Outside of that, for the most part, it's like not only does all your jewelry have to be like serious and interesting and like edgy or like whatever, or polished or fancy, like whatever your aesthetic is, the same hardware, it all has to be silver or it all has to be gold. You have to layer it on and stuff like that. I don't really like respond to the modern approach to jewelry, and this feels much more me to be able to throw on like a cutesy bangle or something with my dress and like call it a day, or like a necklace that has like a little Coraline motif on it or something like that. Hot Topic sells a lot of stuff like this, like still, but yeah, I miss wearing it. Some of it does not exist in stores anymore, but you can find some stuff like that. I also, of course, encourage people to buy from like local places and small businesses, and of course secondhand. Yeah, it has me wanting to chase jewelry and accessory options that maybe are a little more unconventional, not as classy, not as adult. I just get way more excitement, I think, from putting on something that has like, I don't know, some kind of sense of humor to it or personal reference or something like that. I think just the generic, like, I don't know, whatever kind of jewelry, it just doesn't really do anything for me personally. Just like plain minimal stuff. So I like color, I like tacky, I like glitter, I like fun, I like motifs. And my next trend is actually starting to come back a little bit already, believe it or not. And I have had this video planned for some time. So when I saw it in the store, as I'm like, getting this idea together, I was like, what? What? No way. But that trend is sneaker flats. These were huge, huge. When I was growing up, I had so many pairs. You could get them at like Five Below and places like that. I loved that middle ground of like, this is a sneaker and something like girly and dressy. I'm not sure what it is about like the middle ground of a sneaker and a flat that I like, but it makes sense to me. I don't know. The contemporary ones I saw were like, it's kind of in that idea. I think it's definitely inspired by that concept at the very least. I specifically like, they had this like little sneaker toe and then they would have like a whole sneaker sole. So the shoe would like hold up. It would hold up pretty well. And then the rest of it would be like a thicker material or like almost kind of canvasy sometimes, but they would have different prints and bows and buckles and all kinds of things. Of course, like skulls and stripes. As an emo kid, those were, some of the most common prints I went after. I remember these little blue ones that I had that I like wore into the ground, and I could definitely see myself wearing a pair of these even as an adult. I think there's ways to like update it and make it a little bit more modern. I think some of them maybe haven't aged well. And come to think of it, there has been kind of this reinterpretation of the ballet flat sneaker hybrid with like those lace-up sneakers we're seeing. But that's kind of like taking the idea in like an opposite way of how I'm saying to take it, I guess. It's like I want the appearance of a ballet flat, but the function of a sneaker. And I feel like that other one is almost more the appearance of like a ballet shoe / sneaker with the function of a ballet flat, if that makes sense. So with these, the idea would be like they are a lot more like structured and solid and wearable, like they're hard on the bottom. And I think that's why a lot of people don't like ballet flats, is because they're like too flat, too close to the ground. I don't know, if someone could like reconfigure this idea, just make it a little bit cuter and more contemporary, I think sneaker flats could pop off again. Really. Genuinely, I do. And I would love to see it. So that's all I have for you today. That is my list of forgotten slash past underappreciated trends, I guess, from my youth. And I would love to hear like what fashion trends from your youth you miss, things that you would like to see come back, or things you want to start incorporating in your closet. So thanks for sticking around. Thanks for watching this video, and I will see you in the next one. Bye!